Hello and welcome to another edition of Dr. Clueless's Beauty School. As the title implies, we are here to turn your royal messes into princesses with our 52-week challenge. It is a bright sunny day where I am. I hope that wherever you are having some amazing weather and having a great day so far. So, before we get into the content, today's challenge is about staying humble as a key thing that we need to keep in mind when raising our girls, or even if you are a girl or woman yourself. We're just working on character development and things from the inside out that can help us be more attractive on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So I am Dr. Clueless. Actually, my name is Dr. Phil. No, not that Dr. Phil. Like, I'm really like Dr. Phil. Went to medical school, all of that. And you know what? As far as the reason for this channel and for beauty school, why in the world would a doctor be interested in beauty school? Well, I had a daughter. We had a daughter 2 years ago. I didn't have it because clearly she wasn't coming out of me, but I did contribute. And when we had her, especially as a man, it was like, what? How am I gonna raise her? Like, what are those things that I'm gonna focus on in terms of her development? In terms of like what is the point? And so what you immediately find out, especially if you have a cute baby, if you have a cute child, people are going to focus on that girl's, boys or girls, but especially girls, they're going to hyper focus on, like, is she cute? Aren't those cute clothes that she's wearing? Aren't those cute shoes? And so you could get caught up in that being the point. But I determined that that wasn't going to be the point. Like, I wanted to figure out what it is I should focus on, especially as a man, as a parent, in raising a girl. And so not too long ago, actually about 2.5 weeks ago, we had our second daughter. And so I was like, well, this would be cool. Maybe I could come up with a challenge, a 52-week challenge, where every week we learn about how to develop, inner beauty in a girl. And if I'm doing it with my 2-week-old, then certainly you can with your 2-year-old, 20-year-old, and especially if you're a woman yourself. Maybe it'd be interesting to hear from a guy's perspective, what it takes to be a beautiful woman or girl from the inside out. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I welcome you. Please consider subscribing so you can follow our journey and also join yourself. And why don't we get into it? So the way that we're going to do things, again, today is about staying humble. Humility is going to be our princess quality that we're going to work on today. Again, transforming royal messes into princesses. And the way we're going to do that is actually, when I had to think about what a good guide would be, well, it turns out, throughout the week, what we like to do is we like to read a story to my older daughter at night, a bedtime story. And when she was blessed at a church called Hillsong Church, we got a Bible. I think this is the same one. It's a children's Bible. And what I learned by telling her these stories each night is that, it does a great job presenting stories that otherwise might seem very complicated to understand in such a simple way. And it's such a great way to, just come away with takeaways as far as just developing good character, especially for kids. So today we are on the story. So we've done Adam and Eve, where we learned it's important to be responsible. Noah's Ark, where we learned that it's important to be bold. And now today we're going to read about a story you might have heard of. It's the Tower of Babel. And this is coming from the book of Genesis, which is in the beginning of the Bible. If you've never cracked open a Bible, do not worry. This is not, if you are religious, great. If you're not, great. This is to make things easy and non-threatening to follow along. So here we go, the tall tower. So after the flood, everyone spoke the same language. One word meant hello. One word meant mom. One word meant dad. The people said, if we work together, we can do anything. Let's build a tower that goes all the way up to heaven. Then everyone will see how great we are. You see where this is going, right? for disaster. The people worked on their tower. You see, they're building a tower. It's like going up and up and up. They built it taller and taller. They began to brag. God did not like the way they were acting. It was as if they no longer needed him. So God mixed up their language. When they tried to talk to each other, it sounded like Babel. Everyone was confused. Then God scattered the people all over the earth. They had to stop building their tower. From then on, the tower was called Babel. So that's the story of the Tower of Babel. And as you can see, a group of people, they were like, hey, things have been good, but we could even make it greater. We could build up a tower, headed towards the sky. And you get this sense that it would be a way that they could do something where they could take the credit and they could start to kind of maybe even plant the seeds of separating their purpose from being aligned with God and what God had in mind for them. And it's kind of like the moment that they started to think that they could do things on their own is when things started going in the wrong direction. And the takeaway from that story, again, is humility, and that if you are in the process of raising a princess or being a princess yourself, you know what makes you attractive, what makes you beautiful, and you could even get this from the women that is humility, is being humble. And when I think about what it is, what humility is, I think I don't think it's so much having low self-esteem, like you don't know your worth. Like, I don't think it takes that to be humble. I think what it takes is actually starting with knowing this is my strength, this is my talent. I'm really good at this. But then it's also knowing where your talent or strength sort of ends and when others begin. And when you can recognize your talent and at the same time be like, you know what though, like let's say you're working on a project at work, or you see your kids on a sports team, it's understanding that, yeah, while I am good at such and such, hey, this is where it kind of like tapers off, and now someone else is really good at this. And I think if, I had to think about, if I had to think, who in my experience do I think of as, humble and beautiful? I actually went to the illustrious Harvard University, and I remember when I got there, I was like, this is going to be intimidating because these people are going to be brilliant, and who am I to be here? But when I got there, the amazing sauce of this story is how humble and down to earth and cool the people were. And that just added to just how beautiful the people were, was knowing that they were so talented, so brilliant, and yet they didn't have to talk about their brilliance. They didn't have to talk about their IQ or like smarty pants stuff that you think Harvard people would talk about, So I think, if I had to go forward in raising a daughter, and from these discussions, I want to come away with practical things that we can try, every week. And so so as far as humility is just finding opportunities where you can empower your child, your daughter, to know what their strengths are. But then also, again, if they're working on a project, and I think, enrolling in team sports is great for this, it's also encouraging them to see and to verbally declare, like, what, mom or dad, I'm great at this. But I also do recognize that other people are really great at what they do too. Because, and also acknowledging where other people have helped them to be great. I think that's another part of humility, is not taking all the credit for yourself. As you see, the people who are building that tower, they were in the process of doing something that maybe by the end of it, they could have taken all the credit for it. But it's important that, we acknowledge how far people have, allowed us to come. And there, I remember hearing, I don't know, again, you don't have to be religious to relate to this, but I heard this sermon, and it was by Joel Osteen, and he was just talking about how so many people are involved in his life, make him look better, and that no man is an island. Like, you can't take credit for where you are today. Like, everything, that you have today is by some act of maybe someone pouring an opportunity into your life, or God just opening doors. it's hard to take credit and say that you got where you are based on your own merit. And even me as a doctor, as a graduate of Harvard, I look back on my life, and it's so much the product of other people's desire to help me out, of other people's sacrifice. And I'm just so grateful, that I can be a product of how much other people have given to me, and then hopefully I can pay it forward one day. But yeah, as far as this idea of humility, yes, a princess quality that we're gonna learn this week, beauty school, is being humble. If you have a young one, encourage them, find opportunities to help encourage them to be humble. If they're working on an assignment, encourage them to recognize how they are talented, but yet their other group members are talented as well. If your kids are not on team sports, that's something to consider, because that's an opportunity. It doesn't have to be sports, it might be on any team, a chess team, anything like that. And that helps them, when the group wins, it gives them an opportunity to give some of the credit also to others. And ultimately, if you are a religious, spiritual person, then it's an opportunity whenever something, right, goes on today, like even, to be vulnerable. Today we have a test for our daughter that we're going into, and when that result comes out, that we hope, comes out in our favor, for us, it would be to give God the credit and be like, we're just so thankful to God that we're coming out with a positive result. And I think, overall, again, you can just think about the people in your life who you love to be around. That is an attractive quality that attracts you to those people. And if you have those qualities and instill that quality of being humble into your child, I have to think that that's just gonna, again, just up their princess game and make them more attractive in the end. So please do share with me, what do you think when you meet a humble person? Do they necessarily have to be all that meek and weak, or can you see how a humble person doesn't necessarily have to put themselves down? And do you agree? Do you think that when you meet a humble person, that makes them more attractive? Please, I would love to hear from you. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And I would love, again, if you are into this kind of thing, this children's Bible, you can find it for less than $10 on Amazon if you live in the US. And I'll put the information in the description below. But this can be a journey not just about me and my 2-week-old, but I would certainly love to have you join with me. So thanks so much for tuning in. Try to stay humble. I know sometimes it's not easy, especially in this day and age where we want to brag about how far we got. It's in our music, it's in our culture, but we can do it. And hopefully just being on this journey together and keeping each other accountable will help with that. So thank you so much for tuning in. Even if you didn't join on the live, but you joined on the replay, thank you for joining in, and looking forward to the next time. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye. She's sleeping now, so she can't really say goodbye, but she politely declines right now, but maybe in the next video she will be awake. And yeah, okay. All right, thanks for joining. Bye-bye. Yes, I want to stop.